Hello and welcome to episode 237 of First Geek 411. I'm your host, Cameron Franklin, and with me, as always, from West Coast, Best Coast, Emma. How are you doing?
Every week I consider going back and carrying on the joke, but I don't, of making a random noise when you say we're unmuting. I
Sometimes you do
chicken
it,
out last minute.
sometimes you don't.
Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I'm doing good.
And then, from the wilds of Montana, my best man, Chris Nicolay. Chris, how you doing?
Hello. Good. I'm tired. I'm good.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
2
Again.
weeks.
2 weeks in a row.
Again,
What?
Yeah.
we love that.
Unfortunately, I will be gone next week. I don't know if you planned on doing anything, but
Probably not for the fourth. So.
well, it's the third technically,
Oh yeah, true. But
but you know,
yeah, no,
flows right into the fourth. It's like going the weekend.
it's a mystery.
Yeah.
This week, we are going to be chatting about our first impressions of Final Fantasy XVI. Also have some chats about the latest Nintendo Direct, as well as the third season of The Witcher, as well as Henry Cavill's final season in the role of Geralt. As always, before we get into that, we're going to say you can find us on our social media, OneGeek411. You can join our Discord server. You can also find us or send us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. You can check us out on Twitch Monday nights at 6:45 Mountain Time, except for probably next week. And you can hang out for part of the post-show chats. And then if you're watching on YouTube, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And then you can find us at our Redbubble store. Let's get into what we have been up to. Emma, why don't you kick us off?
Like everyone else here, I've been playing Final Fantasy 16, in part thanks to Cameron. I've been enjoying it and having a fun time with it. And for my first dive, it's been fun. We'll get into that later. Also been playing more Tears of the Kingdom. Was just playing before we started.
Bold.
Yeah, I know.
Bold to
I
double
know,
dip.
right?
Bold
I
to double
know.
dip on big time-consuming games.
I know.
I am impressed.
I'm like actually quadruple dipping right now because I haven't finished Star Wars and I haven't finished Hogwarts either.
But are you
So,
actively playing them at the same time? Is what I mean.
yes.
Dang.
Spin
I
all
am
those plates.
actively playing all four of them right now. So,
Oh, to
yeah,
be young.
this is my life. So I've been doing that, and then I have been taking advantage recently of the fact that my internship is less than a mile from the beach, and I've been going there before or after my internship pretty much every day and like going swimming and stuff, and it's been a lot of fun. Um, but learned that there's like an algae bloom happening that is making sea lions and dolphins sick, which is sad. So that's been my recent life of getting mad at tourists for getting too close to sea lions.
Yeah, I saw
that
your
are
post
sick.
about that.
I was just like, please don't. Please
As
stop.
a hard pivot from algae bloom, did you say that you were going to the beach before work to go swimming?
Yes.
What time do you start?
Yeah, what is your what is this
10 a.m.
schedule?
I start at 10
Oh,
Wednesday, Thursday,
never mind.
and noon on Friday. So it's like,
You got all the time beforehand.
Yeah. Okay,
yes,
that makes more
I
sense.
have
I was like, I'm
lots of
super
time.
jealous of your motivation.
Like,
To get up at 6 and
yeah,
Yeah.
no, if I started at a normal hour, I would be going entirely after work.
Okay.
So,
I'm a bit less jealous of your motivation as a human being then. Cuz I was seeing you I start work at 7:30. And so I was seeing you out there as Chris was saying up at 6, beach by 6:30. I was like, how do you survive that?
I wouldn't. Would not.
instead it's up at a normal time, beach by the time Cameron's at work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
at beach at the normal work hour.
Yeah. Regardless, I'm still super jealous. So,
Still a
Chris,
lot to
what have you been up
balance.
to?
So summer pool session just started and started off good with a win. Seeing if I'm gonna see if I can do another undefeated summer sesh.
Get that dub?
See, we'll see. I'm off to a good start this summer. Summer tends to be my session, but we'll see. And then I've been house sitting, so I haven't been up to too terribly much.
Up. Froze again. We got him.
Oh no!
2 weeks in a row.
What a
All Chris,
frame
all
to
frozen.
freeze on.
Outside.
Oh, he's back. Oh, he's frozen again.
Am I back? Or am I frozen again?
Oh, now you're back. Okay.
Frozen?
Oh, there
Back?
you go.
Frozen?
There
I've
you
heard
are.
you guys the entire time, as usual.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're back.
And we're back. Where did I get cut off?
Summer is your season.
Oh,
Summer, yeah.
for pool. Outside of that, I've been house sitting for the last week and a half. So I haven't been up to too terribly much, although I did get up, feed the dog, and then came home so I can play Final Fantasy 16 during the work hours that I don't have to worry about the dog. And then yeah. And so yeah. I put in some decent time this weekend in that, so
Nice. For me,
yeah.
This past weekend, we went and checked out our local library as well as our local rec center for the area around our new house.
Ooh.
Got our library cards. Got those
Megan
ebooks and audiobooks going.
Proud.
Yeah. They have The Princess Bride for our next book club, so there we go. Was that the majority of my motivation for going? Yes.
Yes.
That was indeed it. And so, unfortunately, they don't have the audiobook, which I was hoping for.
Wah.
But I'm excited to do that. Excited to support the local library. And other than that, I did do some reading this weekend, and it was the Frosthaven rulebook. All 80-something pages of it. And so that was indeed something. And a lot going on. And oh, Chris is freezing again. I'll be back. And so Frosthaven, it's crazy. I'm so excited. I'm hoping that we'll start it sometime this week. All 40-pound board game of it. And so
fun.
I'm super excited about all of that. And because of that, I've started playing the campaign of Gloomhaven, which I have digitally on Epic. And so that's been very fun. And then as we all have, and we can transition here into our main topic, I've been playing Final Fantasy 16. And so we're going to jump into our initial thoughts on the game. Spoiler free, nothing crazy. I'd say nothing that hasn't been shown in a trailer. When in doubt, Emma, no spoilers. And so, because I don't think you kept up with the game.
What hasn't been shown in a trailer.
Yeah.
I will keep it general.
I don't even know what happens in the trailers,
so
exactly.
So with that, let's kind of go around before we get into actual impressions about how far are you into the game and what is your history with Final Fantasy.
As someone who has, for the majority of my life, gotten Final Fantasy confused with Kingdom Hearts,
it's not even understandable. There's no Final Fantasy in Kingdom Hearts 3. So
I
don't know how you confuse them.
It's just me being weird.
See, admittedly, I feel like that's I got confused between a sub and a normal sandwich. It's basically the same thing. They're just just different ways of preparing food.
Yeah. So this is my first interaction ever with Final Fantasy. Aside from the general ramblings and understandings that it's an anthology rather than one continuous story, if I'm understanding that correctly, ?
You are correct.
Yes.
There are some stories that continue, but in general, each game is independent.
Great. Fabulous. So
So
that's like
some
the
games
only.
are based in kind of the same world, but they're typically not. It's not typically going to be within the same number, like different numbered games.
So it's like Spider-Man. Kind of. Like the Spider-Man, like,
Sure.
universe, whatever.
Yep.
Almost.
They're different universes with similar themes. Is kind of a
Yeah.
good way of thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so like there's things that relate like that go from series to series, such as like naming structures and things like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, in general, they're separate worlds.
Yeah.
And
That
Emma, about
tracks.
how far are you in?
Let's see. Where did I get played earlier? Um, oh,
I was thinking about hours wise. About where are you
oh,
in?
like 6, roughly.
Okay, so you're still in the intro? Okay, no, I'm just
No.
kidding.
I am at that
Final
point where
Fantasy.
we discover something major about Clive.
Okay.
That if y'all have gotten there, you know what I'm talking
Yes.
about.
Yeah,
That I guess at the very beginning, I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
You could
you
have figured
kind of
out
just
a lot.
confirmed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, but I'm just got there like this morning. So that's where I'm at. It's like 6 hours, 8 hours roughly. Yeah.
So
And go ahead.
for me, I'm at probably about literally the same place you are. I'm like probably a little bit ahead of you. But I've been playing on stream, and so like I'm definitely going a bit slower because of that.
Oh.
And overall, Final Fantasy, I feel like I came to the series weird because I came to it through the side games, where like 10 was my first like numbered game, and then
Good one.
I like haven't really gone back. I've played like a couple of the older ones, but haven't beaten any of them. But then games like Tactics Advance, Type Zero, if you can consider 7 Remake a spin-off game.
I don't consider it a spin-off, but we'll give it to you.
Yeah. And so I came to the series a lot more through that side of things. And then I've like kept up with the numbers. Never really got into 12, but like I've played and beat 13 and 15. And then, like I said, a bunch of like Crystal Chronicles and stuff like that.
Oh man.
A bunch of that style of game. So, and Chris, what about you?
So anyone that's been with us for a while knows I've played pretty much every Final Fantasy under the sun, outside of weird spin-offs that I didn't have access to. Yeah, well, started with Final Fantasy 7, but I have since gone back and played like 6 and some of the weird, no, questionable number games because of the port to the US. So
Yeah.
the numbering system gets weird in the early games. But yeah, so starting with 7, 9's my favorite. Even played the MMO, both MMOs I should say, 11 and 14. Yeah. But Final Fantasy 16. So far, I'm definitely a lot farther than both of you. I'm about probably 14 hours in, 12 to 14, somewhere in there. So I will try to keep my mouth shut as much as possible. Some good stuff that happens. That's all I'm saying. This is probably one of my favorite stories in a while from the Final Fantasy franchise. Gameplay wise, I really do miss the turn-based kind of battle systems of the past. But we kind of knew they were disappearing with after, you know, what after 15 and 7 kind of definitely pointed us in the direction of this more action play style. So, but yeah, great story so far.
Yeah, Emma, as somebody coming into it, what are your first impressions? Story, gameplay, all of that jazz.
I am really enjoying the world that is being built and story that's being told. The thing that started off as a major complaint is growing on me that I tweeted about. And the fact that it is pretty cutscene heavy and not very as like gameplay heavy as most of the games I play, like that bugged me a lot. And I was just like, I just want to play. Like, I don't want to sit here and listen to you guys talk and not be able to like look around as you're talking. But that's like grown on me a bit as I've played more and like it's like a different way of telling the story. So that's like definitely grown on me in that side of things. Um, and then it just lets you focus on like the fighting side of things more so, which has been fun. Um, instead of my very ADHD butt who gets distracted and goes wandering off into the wilderness, completely forgetting the story exists. Um, which is probably why I
Soon.
hated it at first. That's what I've heard. I've done a little bit of wandering here and there where I've been able to.
It
Um,
kind of teases like how big the world is gradually, and then
yeah,
eventually, like with every Final Fantasy game, it's like, hey, look, it's very linear, and then suddenly, kind of, depending on which franchise, like, and then it's just like, oh, by the way, do what you want for a bit.
yeah,
You can go do the main story, and then, but yeah,
yeah.
it gets, but it's just like, oh, here you go. You can choose to finish the game now, or
Wander off into the
Yeah.
wilderness
That
for a
world
while.
needs
yeah.
saving, but if you want to, go help this person
Yeah.
with delivering some food.
Or walking, 200 feet across the compound to get them some wood.
Right.
Like,
Don't do that, and that's MMO territory. No, I'm just kidding.
exactly. So I'm enjoying it. I am like, it's definitely growing on me, and I'm enjoying it more as I play. So, yeah.
Yep. For me, I'll make this very bold claim. As long as this continues at the level it is, this is going to be my favorite Final Fantasy game. I'm calling the shot now. And I feel like story wise, this does a lot that the like other games have kind of scratched their surface on. And not really gone as deep in. Like Chris, like one of our very first episodes of this podcast was the spoiler cast for Final Fantasy 15. And one of the places I feel like that story struggled a lot is A, it was very clear they'd carved out a lot of story for DLC. Um, but B, there was a lot of the implied story of that game was more interesting than the actual story. Um, and as I think as long as this one continues at like the clip that it is going, it'll probably end up being my favorite Final Fantasy game. Um, I'm really liking the gameplay. I'm looking forward to it opening up more. It has not felt super combo-y yet, and I feel like I am very much looking forward to that happening. And but I've overall really enjoyed the gameplay. As Chris had mentioned, I wish they would do something with a turn-based Final Fantasy. I don't think we're ever going to see that as like a numbered entry ever again.
I think that's
But
our Bravely Default series now,
yeah,
or
I would love to see them
Octopath
take.
maybe.
Yeah, Octopath would be a good one. I would love to see them take a like super stylized, like akin to like Persona 5 take on the turn-based system. I would love to see them go back and do that, but yeah, I strongly doubt we'll ever see that as a numbered game again. But overall, I'm enjoying the gameplay.
We
Toggle
should
is best boy.
mention that this is the first rated M
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy game.
And it's very rated M.
Which it's very yeah, it's like, oh, this is a lot darker than the last few
Yeah.
than any in the past, which isn't a bad thing in this case. Yeah, we should say like before, on back in the Nintendo days of Final Fantasy, they're rated. They probably would have been rated E. I don't think we had a rating system yet. Um, And then Final Fantasy VII was the first rated T for teen, and then yep, and then we've kind of been in that. So they definitely know that their primary audience is mature.
Yeah, I'm trying to Google
Just
and see if I can find a
one
list of
thing.
all the SRBs.
One thing that kind of annoys me is I'm kind of annoyed with Clive's voice actor.
Oh yeah, I like him a lot.
I mean, I like him, but then also it's a little too Geralty.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I was like, is this the same voice actor? It's not, and that irritates me even more. That I know that it's not the same voice actor. I'm just like, it would have been better if I found out they were the same person,
Yeah,
because
I
then at
feel like it would
least
be
there'd be a
easier to get
reason.
over if it was the
Yeah,
same actor. Because it's like, yeah, okay, you can't, like, you can only do so much to change your voice between
yeah.
characters.
So as a result, his personality just always comes off too Geralty, a
Yeah.
little too broody McBrood. Um, which I mean, I get for so far what we know about him, but yeah, there are times I'm just like, okay, wrong game.
Yeah. So just for context, it looks like a lot of the early Final Fantasies were E or E10, and then yeah, recent entries have been T.
Teeing up. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
And
T.
then and then as Chris said, well, this is the first numbered Final Fantasy that has been M rated.
Yes.
There have been other Final Fantasies that have been, specifically Type 0 and Strangers in Paradise. But
One thing in the Final Fantasy franchise that I'm getting excited about is that a Final Fantasy IX remake is gaining traction potentially. It's like the rumors keep growing on that, so I'm really crossing my fingers for a Final Fantasy IX remake.
yeah. I guess with that, everybody stay tuned. We will, of course, have more thoughts, more impressions as we get going. I don't want to do like favorite characters. I don't want to do thoughts on that because I don't want us to accidentally get into any spoilers. But the goal is hopefully that we
How
will
about
eventually
favorite
get.
icon?
Even that, I would at this point, I would consider a spoiler. I don't necessarily want to
Really?
know what all's in there. Yeah,
We know all the I mean all we know at least 8 of them are in there.
I mean, yes,
I mean, I didn't know that.
right, yeah,
I mean, okay, those with a history of Final Fantasy
yeah,
know that if this is going to be an icon focused,
yeah.
you're going to have your staple icons, and so I don't think that's much of a spoiler.
I mean, I will say they leave a lot open to how they will be represented. Again, well, we can talk
Yes.
post show.
Yeah.
We can talk post show about it.
Okay.
But yeah. With that, stay tuned. Like I said, goal is that we'll be doing a spoiler cast. After we've all made it through this 50 to 60 hour RPG. And so it'll probably be a minute.
I still miss the days of the 120 though.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Persona 5. Get started. I'm always up
again
for spoiler
restarting
cast on
Persona 5 again because I don't have 2 versions at all.
Yeah. With that, let's get into I forgot. I always forget to do this. I got a picture of us of Clive. I'm putting it up just to show that I had it for our discussion of this. Chris, why don't you go into the news because you have news about Final Fantasy? So now I don't feel bad about forgetting to put this up.
So on Metacritic, so Final Fantasy prior to release was getting pretty great reviews. I think starting at an 88 on Metacritic. I think it's had some perfect scores across some platforms as well, but recently got review bombed.
Lame.
And I think it got pretty bad. It like dragged down to like 60 something on Metacritic as a result of like a lot of 1-star reviews and things like that. Some people have done some fishing though and found that this might be just Microsoft fanboys review bombing it because it's a PS5 exclusive for the time being, with no announcement of a Xbox port, because they noticed that some of the same people that gave it a 1-star gave what was the kind of a recent AAA bomb on Xbox?
Redfall.
Redfall. That sounds
The
right.
vampire one.
Yeah, I think so. Kind of bombed, but the same people were giving Redfall 5 stars.
I would like to read a review for y'all. So, and then I want you to guess the number. This is a user review, not a critic review, also for context.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Critics love this game so far. But...
yeah, we'll talk about breakdown a little bit in a second. I prefer replay Chrono Cross 200 times rather than make a second run of Final Fantasy 16, because Final Fantasy 16 become horribly bad from the second half of the plot. So this person seemingly has played enough of the game to get to the second half of the plot, not to formulate a coherent sentence, but has at least gotten to the second half.
I was gonna
implying beat
ask.
it. Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
ask if you were reading it out the way it was typed out.
Yes, that is how it is typed out. So this person that got presumably beat the game, at least made it the second half, what do you think they reviewed it?
A 1?
1 star.
Yeah, they gave it a 0, which I didn't even know you could do on Metacritic. But like, here we are.
All right.
But yeah, so there's a lot of that going around. So for context, yeah, as Chris called out, currently sitting at an 88 critic score out of 100, and then sitting at an 8.0 user score. The critic scores are sitting at 101 positive, 8 mixed. And that's just based on the number that they give. So like, I think positive is 60 or is 71 or above. Mixed is like 71 to like, I don't know, say 30 or 40 or something. And so 101 or above a 7 out of 10. User reviews, 3,000 positive, 200 mixed, 709 negative. So one of these things is not like the other. But of course, there's nothing wrong with disliking the game, but it's always fun to go and read the zeros. Here's another good one.
People that took a very strong stance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An even worse Final Fantasy game than Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy 15. This is hugely disappointing, especially for Yoshi P. Okay. 0 out of 10 also, by the way. Again, crazy to me.
I mean, I will say Final Fantasy has a very, much like Star Wars, has a certain sect of its fan base that doesn't like change at all. It's like, if they would have told this story but kept like some sort, like, and the graphics and everything, told the same story but kept like some type of turn-based battle system, they wouldn't be as mad.
Yeah.
As just pointing out the 2 games they picked to point out.
Yeah, the 2 most action games. Yeah.
The 2 that were most converted into action games. Yeah, you can tell they didn't care, like, which I don't mind. It's not my favorite, but I think it's well executed in this game for the most part too. But
yeah, I mean, I also think, like, I'll say this as a general statement. It's not like they surprised you with it. Like, if you're Bob, not you, of course, not meaning you individually, Chris, but like, how dare you?
Feel so attacked.
But
I knew nothing.
I knew nothing.
I knew nothing.
I assumed this was going to be a Final Fantasy 1 turn-based RPG. And yeah, I feel like that's always one of those things with those complaints where it's like, I can't believe that they did this. It's like, well, you didn't have to buy it. Like, you knew it was coming. Especially if you're going to rate it a 0 out of 10, that kind of thing. Like, having criticism is great and valid. You can dislike the way that the game is going, or the series is going. But I feel like people that like are giving it a 0 out of 10, like, you should have just not bought it if that's the problem.
It's true. Yeah, no problem. As long as there's a way for me to make it easier for myself. Like, if I could turn to, like, in this case, like, I was interested that like intrigued that they did a equipment based
Mm-hmm.
um kind of adaptive play setting. Um, I thought that was very unique, and I just have one equipment on, which is a slowdown for the action, um, for like evading and stuff. But I like that. It balanced things out just enough for me that and I've always just played the Final Fantasy games for the stories for the most part anyway. So I don't need a major like challenging play experience because Final Fantasy VII I'm still stuck at on the most difficult setting to get the platinum and against the freaking House of Terror in the arena or whatever it was. Still can't beat that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. I'm bad. But yeah, the reviews are hilarious.
Yep. Whenever people are like, games media isn't good at reviewers, you should only listen to other people. Just remember that there are those kinds of other people. So
Don't trust
Yep.
anyone that takes such a hardline stance.
yeah, on
Because
pretty
yeah,
much
like
any media.
yeah, that's exactly. It's like you can find something if you enjoy story-based games, you will find something to enjoy in Final Fantasy 16. I promise you. Uh, it's like even if the overall combat style isn't your thing, you know, equip all the easy equipment and just button mash square.
Yep. Yep.
The game's not designed to kill you.
Yeah. And
Don't
Chris, you
tell
got
me
a
that,
second thing.
Chris. I was feeling confident about my skills.
Oh, I selected story mode right away. And eventually some equipment just like, oh, this is all I need. I just need this one, and I can equip the other two with powerful things, I guess. My second thing is um, kind of in response. Granted, this was it just came up in my newsfeed, but was a lot earlier. But Drew Carey sent out a tweet announcing that until the end of the current Writers Guild of America strike, that he would be buying lunch for anyone that presents their WGA card at Bob's Big Boy in Burbank. And I just thought it was worth bringing up. That's a stand-up move.
Yeah.
Yep, lunch is on him.
Good for him. If only I had a WGA card, I would take him up on that.
Should get on it. I'm just kidding.
Trying. Doing
Chris,
my
you have
best.
identified the goal. Yeah.
You want to be a writer?
Congrats! You know what I'm trying to do. Be in the film industry.
Yeah, but what specific part? Are you trying to be a writer?
See, the thing with the film industry is that you can be more than one thing.
Yes,
You can
but
be multiple things.
Be
My first
everything.
two things are editing and directing, but I'm not opposed
see,
to writing.
I'm just saying that we knew, like, you obviously had a focus on directing and editing. Okay, writing is, that's a whole other like kind of group that requires a lot of dedication. That's all I'm saying.
We're all just trying to accomplish our life goals over here.
Yeah.
Yep. Emma, what you got for us?
Let's see, what do I have? That's right. This week on Netflix is the start of the third season of Witcher, which is notable almost entirely because it will be the final season with Henry Cavill.
So you could have just stopped at the final season.
The final season. Period.
There is
Anything
no
that
fourth.
comes out
There is
after
no
this,
fourth season.
we do not acknowledge.
There is
as a
no
result.
fourth season in Bossing side.
Yeah.
In the role of Geralt, speaking of which, after which, whichever Hemsworth brother it is, is taking over the role, which I think was a wild casting decision, first of all. And second of all, like, the reason Henry Cavill quit is because the writing room wouldn't listen to him as a big Witcher fan in terms of the role and etc. I could go on and on about that. But yeah, so it's the third season is coming out in two parts, a part one and a part two. So the first part is coming out starting, it's going to be released on Thursday. And it's going to be a wild ride for the final season, period. End of sentence.
What I wish
And
they would have
it's
done instead of like trying to continue with the live action and recasting Geralt is because like the animated short series and everything that they've done outside of the live action has also been really well done. I wish they would just went that route. Just like, okay, fine. We're gonna tell the rest of the story in anime. And that would have been like perfect.
Great.
Yeah.
Honestly, that would have been, I would have been much better with that decision than casting a Hemsworth in the lead role for the live action. So,
and it's Liam, by the way.
you know what?
I'm
Three
sorry.
of them are in acting.
Yeah.
So,
Just for context, for
the only one I care about is Chris.
yeah, Chunk got us in chat, and so
Thanks, Chunk.
um
I only care about Thor, okay?
I'm
It's the only thing I
tentatively
care about.
excited for season 3. I was not huge on season 2 in hindsight. The spin-off series was kind of okay. But the animated movie was amazing. Like 10 out of 10. Definitely recommend that. But yeah, hearing kind of to what Emma was saying earlier, hearing that the majority of Chris's issues have been not Chris's, Henry's issues. I was on Chris Hemsworth. I was on Chris Hemsworth, and so the majority of Henry's issues have been like writing based and like sticking true to the source material, like,
which is a valid point to be
right.
stubborn about.
Yeah, that makes me a little bit less excited.
It feels bad though to be criticizing writers concerning the current.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but also considering the timeline and knowing how writers' rooms work for TV shows specifically, it was much more so the showrunners that were having the final say than the actual writers. So really, he had more of a beef with the showrunners than he did with the writers. So
what do y'all think of Stranger Things? Did this as well? I don't know, maybe there's some other Netflix show that has done this, but what do y'all think about Netflix actually breaking their series up into sections versus the normal full-on drop?
I mean, I still, oh geez, what? There's been a couple of shows recently on streaming services that have gone back to releasing one episode a week. And that format I really like. Because it gives you, for people like me who are insanely busy and cannot sit down and watch the entire series in one go, it's a much smaller chunk to watch in a busy schedule. So I like the fact that some streaming services or some shows are sort of breaking things up more into those smaller sections, either by releasing one episode a week or like half of the season here and then the other half there, just because then it's like, great, if there's only 4 or 5 episodes for me to watch right now versus the entire 10 or 12, then like I can reasonably catch up to everyone else on the internet more quickly than I could previously and have things spoiled. So I like it because it makes it more anticipatory especially with good cliffhangers where you literally cannot access the next episode
Mhm.
until the network decides that you can have it. So,
I I think it is mostly a business decision, and it's a very
yeah,
smart one because
yeah,
it does improve retention. Although like with the especially although with the increase in price and everything, I think they're still gonna struggle with some retention, um, and crack down on password sharing, and depending on how things are negotiated with the Writers Guild. But
yep,
I think yeah, for as a consumer, it makes sense. Although I am a binge watcher, so I'm gonna sit down for a weekend and watch all of one thing. Um, I like what that they don't do like the traditional season aspect because they can just tell the story they need to, without trying to populate a very specific amount of time, like with original cable television,
Mhm.
you know. So I've always enjoyed that. Um, Although I don't know, there is something about watching an entire season all at once.
Yeah.
That was that from a cable television series, sitting down, being able to watch it all at once, I should say specifically. Um, if it's that good, it's like, okay. And
Mhm.
Netflix, stop asking me if I'm still
Are you
watching.
still here? Yeah.
Are you still here? You know I am. Um,
no. Why would you think I was?
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, I think it's more of a business thing, and sometimes like I'm like, okay, why did you break it up? It just depends on how it's written, how well they do it, and but I also hate it when they call it a single season necessarily. It's like, okay, if you want to do a shorter miniseries, and then do another one that kind of continues that same storyline, do that. But calling it part one and two and just
Yeah.
putting an arbitrary date span in between them.
Yeah. And Chat Chunk calls out that you has done this as well.
Mm,
Um, for me, this kind of builds off what Chris is saying. This is exactly what I like about streaming, is that every show can kind of be approached in its own way, and for what makes sense for the story that the writers and the directors have to tell with that show. Um, like I like that Disney Plus, almost where it's almost always single episodes. But I loved for Andor that we got the first 3 episodes,
yeah,
especially when that first episode was a very slow burn. But the way it picks up through that first arc is so good, that I'm glad that that wasn't dropped 1 episode at a time. Similarly, I liked that what they did with Stranger Things. I really liked that you kind of build to like this high point and then you kind of have your, okay, we're going to pause. Where do you think we're going from here? Theories. Then you get, I think, your final 2 episodes from there, I think is how they split it up. Um, I really like that as a way of um, telling the story, of breaking things up. Also, of course, ideally here, this is hopefully keeping people from having to crunch as much to get everything done. If they have more time that they can be working on the second batch of episodes versus the first batch. I don't know if that's true, but like that's the dream, right? Um,
it always is, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. And then yeah, I think this again, kind of even like episode length as a whole. I think that's one of the biggest benefits of streaming is that you can have your stories that like, hey, this episode doesn't have to be exactly 22 or 45 minutes or whatever. This episode can be 51
With
minutes and the next one can be 35, and you can have your very weird episode lengths for whatever the story that you want to tell. Intersperse them the way that you want to do it. Do double episodes sometimes because each arc is shorter. Like I really like that, and I'm hoping that we see uh, more series go to this or some format, like of mixing it up. But so I do think, I mean, Disney said for Echo we're getting it all at once, but Secret Invasion we're still getting an episode at a time, uh, and so I'm really excited to see where we're gonna kind of shake out with that. Um, and then, like I said, any final thoughts on The Witcher season 3?
Gonna watch it.
I really liked this picture that I got for this stream of Geralt, like staring into our soul.
Yes. Good photo. Great
yes.
find.
10 out of 10. Do recommend.
And so that's now and hang it up.
Yeah, put it like right behind my screen.
Print it
so
large.
It looks at me while I stream.
All the time.
Large and super grainy.
Yeah, that's going to bring us to our final topic. This past week, actually, I believe the day after we did our last podcast, we got a Nintendo Direct, in which we got the reveal of Elephant Mario, which I'm all in for, but we'll get there. So I'm going to kind of run through some of the highlights of the Direct. The link is in the show notes for y'all in chat. And as always, as we go through, and I put the link in chat as well for people there. This is from GameSpot. And so as we go through, stop me if there's anything that jumps out to you, anything specific that you want to talk about. Otherwise, we're going to kind of just go through this article and chat through stuff. So we got to see more of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero expansions. I'm very excited for this. This trailer, whatever, didn't really do anything for me. I don't think it showed anything super exciting. Like, I'm excited for it. There's gonna be more Pokemon to catch.
All about the trainer clothes, man.
Yeah. Anything to not wear my short shorts. Like, the trainer outfits are so bad in that game. We also got the reveal of Sonic Superstars, which is a new 2D Sonic
Nice.
that is going to have 4-player co-op.
Nice.
So like, I'm not like super interested in this game, but I love the idea of us doing a podcast stream of this and the sheer chaos of co-op Sonic. So,
are those flowers gears? Or
yes,
like saw blades?
You know, it was kind of unclear. I think that is what they're supposed to be, though.
I am intrigued.
We got to see Palia, which is a relaxing farm, like life simulator.
Perfect.
Get that cozy game
Great.
in.
Absolutely need another
so
one of
great for
those in my
Nintendo.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
check out
after you
Harvestella.
scare yourself with Subnautica, you can then just go have chill vibes in that one.
Me scare myself with Subnautica? What about you scaring yourself?
There's a reason I stopped playing that game, okay?
Yeah.
I didn't want to at myself. We also got to see more Persona 5 Tactica. This had previously been revealed at the Xbox Games Showcase. I'm all hyped. I'm literally the target audience for this game. Like, it's Persona 5 meets Fire Emblem.
There you go.
Yeah. Kind of like Marvel's Midnight Suns. Like, I am just like literally the target audience. Like, I'm whoever they researched, I need to like chat with, because this is the exact game I want. I love the art style. It looks super cool. Can't wait to see more of what they do. I think that's releasing this year. The article does not say, but I think that is the case. We also got to see our first look at the remake of Super Mario RPG, originally released on the NES, right?
Yes. No, Super
NES.
Super.
Okay.
Yeah.
By Square Enix. Releasing November 17th.
Is by Squaresoft at the time.
At the time. Now Square Enix.
Now Square Enix, yeah.
Technicalities.
Yeah. Chris, you've played this,
It's an important distinction. Yes.
Okay.
It is. I even tried playing it on the stream for.
I thought I remembered watching you stream it.
When I had on the Super Nintendo, the SNES, whatever it was, the emulator box.
Classic.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for this to see kind of, just because like anytime, the biggest thing with upgrading, like all the games back then were obviously optimized for CRT televisions, but now we just get to see like more detail of characters. And also there is a distinction. Pixel art never existed.
There is no pixel, only art.
pixel art is a new thing that is reminiscent of what we believe we thought we were seeing on a CRT television. But it has nothing to do with how they design things. Uh, but but yeah, I'm pretty stoked for this. It is a fun Mario story, and it has some wacky characters that don't exist in any other Mario game. Um, and yeah, and it's just a good turn-based RPG type game, and you're wandering around. Some fun. It's a good one. I recommend it. Although I'm wondering how this worked out. Like, are they both like are Nintendo and Square both working on this, or who had the final rights to allow it? Or I have no idea how this came to be.
All
I'm
of
happy.
Let me Google. I'm curious if they have it on their site. While I do that, we also got to see Myth Force, which is like a Saturday morning cartoon inspired like first person action game. Looks like it's gonna be very co-op heavy. I'm interested in this. This feels like a game that I would play once or twice and then not play again. But
It's giving classic D&D vibes,
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Like whatever that original D&D movie was, the cartoon one, it's giving
Yeah.
like vibes of that. So,
Yeah.
at least from my end.
Feels like He-Man.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
that. Also a very valid, whatever
Yeah.
this art cartoon style is, it's a very specific vibe.
And I'll call out for Super Mario RPG. Nintendo's website lists themselves as the publisher and does not list a developer. So who knows if
In
Square,
general, it looks
how
like this
involved
is just
Square
like a facelift.
Yeah.
For the most part, but I mean, like either way, I'm down. But yeah, I would be interested to see if they're not listed. I'm really curious. But if Square's not involved, I'll be a little sad
Mm-hmm.
because Square made that game.
From there, we got to see more Splatoon 3. They're doing a Splatfest. Go check it out if you're interested. It's one of the best esports in Nintendo. ...
Nintendo's getting really competitive again, huh?
Yeah.
We're gonna...
Then we got to see the second Pokemon of the show, where we got Detective Pikachu Returns. Our chatting Pikachu is back finally. There's a super wholesome gif of one of the hosts from IGN like reacting to this happening. After we like haven't heard anything about this game in like 3 years, and it was assumed that it was like quietly canceled. And so, does this mean we're getting Detective Pikachu 2 movie soon? I want to believe. I love that movie so much. From there, we got a tease of a Princess Peach game, and that's coming out in 2024. No gameplay, not really any information about it other than Peach and this flower thing. But that is on the way. Now give me my Zelda game. Like, give me The Legend of Link, whatever, and let me play as Zelda.
Where Zelda does the rescuing for once.
Yeah. If you are looking for another place to play the Batman Arkham trilogy, have I got news for you? It is coming to Nintendo Switch.
It is now handheld.
Like, it is releasing this fall. So, I've played Arkham Asylum. It's a very good game. I didn't get into City, and I haven't played Night, but
yeah, I only played the first one too.
Yeah,
Asylum.
Yeah. I know that they're very beloved. I don't know who this announcement is for. Like,
There's just more ports, you know.
Yeah, like,
that's what the Switch is known for.
Yeah, props to you. If this is how you want to play them, more power to you. I'm just very confused by this. We also saw Monster Hunter Quest: The Dark Prince.
Yes.
Coming out December 1st.
I'm excited for that one. It looks fun. Looks like a little like Rancher, but Dragon Quest. Yeah, sorry, it's Dragon Quest, not Monster Hunter.
Oh, did I say Monster Hunter?
I think so. Did he?
Okay.
Someone verify for me because that's what I heard.
Dragon Quest Monsters.
Monsters.
Yeah.
Dark Prince.
Admittedly, Monsters is way bigger in their logo, and so I quite easily could have confused myself.
They didn't want you to get it confused with the numbered series.
Yeah.
This is another Final Fantasy situation.
Yeah.
Don't confuse it with the numbered series. Although all of Dragon Quest are in the same universe, it's just different times and things, and yeah.
From there, we saw Pikmin 4 releases next month on July 21st.
Never
Do y'all
thought
have
I'd
an
see Pikmin 4.
interest in this?
No, there's another
No.
numbered 4 game that I've been waiting for 6 years now.
RIP Metroid.
Which is still no news.
Yeah. Congratulations, Chris. Nothing happened. Remember that
Nothing
that
happened.
E3 when I was like, is showing the title for this really enough when it's not anywhere close? Was
And
that enough to
apparently
win E3? Here we are, like 5 years later.
6. It was
So they-
E3 of
they-
2017.
They announce it and then just nothing.
It was just a
since
title
then.
screen.
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
just
it
it
was
was
Metroid
literally
Prime.
just the logo.
Yep, just the
That's
logo. Metroid
basically
Prime
the
4.
same thing as announcing it. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Like,
they
yeah,
announced
but
that they're working on it.
Yeah. Apparently they
6
got like a couple years
years.
into it and like had to completely scrap it.
Oh,
And like
That's rough.
completely start from scratch on it. So is my understanding based on things that I've read. So
same. But it's just like, man,
still,
6 years.
that's rough.
I didn't realize Metroid was Kingdom Hearts.
yeah. Just wait. If it hasn't been 12 years, you got nothing on it.
On a plus note, since then we have gotten Metroid games. We got Metroid Dread and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's just, man, just lacking. Need Metroid Prime 4.
Speaking of ports, we got Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon coming to Switch from the 3DS. We got more information on the next Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope DLC. And then we got to see Mario Bros. Wonder. The first like new 2D Super Mario game in quite a while. And as we put up on the screen, most importantly, we got Elephant Mario. And I have to tell you, if this game was releasing literally not on October 20th, I would probably pick it up day one. But alas, Marvel Spider-Man 2 has my heart and it has that day. And so,
I was gonna ask what else is coming out that day.
yeah.
I'm
Of
still
course-
going to be in the middle of some other game at that time, so
Yeah.
You and me
we don't
both.
consider games.
We don't pick favorites here. I say
No,
as
I pick
someone with a
favorites.
favorite.
with a favorite, yeah.
Always pick favorites.
From
I
there,
say as someone with several favorites.
let's see, go to some of the other bigger names. We're going to skip a little bit. We got some more information on
Wait.
WarioWare Move It.
Can I ask a clarifying question first?
Go ahead.
Is Elephant Mario a previously existing thing, or is Elephant Mario completely brand new as
Elephant Mario is
this?
brand new.
Okay.
As far as
Great.
we know,
Yeah, as far as
unless
we
he
know.
made some random appearance somewhere else, but that we're not aware of. But
Well, given how many other versions
Well,
of Mario exist, you know,
as like not the biggest Mario fan people, you know, like we love Mario. Don't get me wrong,
Ooh.
but
we
you
do.
know. It's not like I have filled my brain with Mario lore.
Yeah. And then some other, like I said, kind of going through. We got Vampire Survivors finally coming to Switch. We got Headbangers Rhythm Royale, which is a battle royale game of musical mini games.
Rhythm.
I'm super interested.
I have no rhythm.
Yeah, kind of selfishly, I'll say we also got the announcement that Gloomhaven is coming to consoles. So I'm super excited about that. Do I pick this up and restart the campaign again on PlayStation? Maybe.
Yes.
Like, we'll
Question
find
mark?
out. And so here we are. But very excited for that. But yeah, those are the major announcements that we got.
You didn't mention Star Ocean?
Oh, we also got Star Ocean. What is it? The Second Story R. So
it's a full remake of a PS1 game. And speaking of long RPGs, Star Ocean is like the longest of the long. This is a 100-hour RPG. So just throwing it out there.
yeah. How long to beat has it at 89 and a half hours. If you want 100%.
For me, that's okay. It's not as I thought.
Yeah.
But still,
That's
I mean,
something.
PS1. Yeah, Star Ocean, is one of the like early multi-disc games. Also, did you see? So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, multiple discs.
Yeah. Had the PlayStation event.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were gotta get that classic multi-disc experience in for Final Fantasy VII. We're already at 3, so we're already at the original game between the two. Sorry. Okay.
There you go.
But yeah, some good stuff. I'm very excited for this. I think that this was probably one of the best like events that we'd had this summer because it actually like moved at a good pace.
It's kind of a big one.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah. And I'll say
Granted,
like for me,
ports,
like
but...
yeah, first party wise, there's nothing that I'm like super hyped about. I mean, I'm interested in Mario. I'm interested in the Pokemon stuff, but there was no Fire Emblem announcements, so like
Instead, they gave you a Fire Emblem Persona crossover.
They gave that I can play on not my Switch. So, but yeah, I think that this was a good illustration of like Nintendo understanding the room and being like, hey, we got stuff to show. We're gonna not spend 20 minutes talking about Mortal Kombat gameplay. So
valid.
Just throwing it out there, Nintendo already won E3.
Yeah, they've been winning since
they're not going to be there, but
in process, they're perpetually winning, and so
it's like you don't even have to go to E3 to win it anymore.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Chat, YouTube, let us know what announcements you were excited about as we move into our announcement segment. And as referenced at the top of the show, Princess Bride Book Club, 1 month from tomorrow. On July 27th. Be reading that for Classic Geek Summer. And also, go check out your library. With that, as we get ready for our
library card.
Yeah, do it. As we get ready for our post-show chat, you can find us on our social media as OneGeek411. You can find us on our Discord server and shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. Also, check out that Redbubble store. You can watch live on Twitch and find the videos over on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe. And then if you want to find us at our personal social media, you can do that as well. Mine is Humar Whittle.
Mine is I am not prepared with an I.
And I'm not so foreign.
And it's been a great week.
Eat some ice cream.
Insert inspirational phrase here.